Well, it's Saturday the 26th of February. This is episode 2208 of 301 Permanently Moved Online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited by me, at the JMO. This is a personal podcast. I say it up front every week. I write and speak to you in a personal capacity. Once a week I sit down and pour out 1,000 words on whatever I feel like talking about into a document. Then I read it back, edit, and speak it aloud. Abracadabra. As I speak, I create. Creating work and offering it online is a kind of burlesque. You are you, but different on the internet. There's the mask you wear for the gram, the Twitter persona, the face for YouTube. They're all a performance, an exaggerated imitation of oneself. We're all Sally Rand now, on a platform, a literal stage behind billowing fans, hiding and revealing parts of ourselves over the course of the performance. With titular movements, we suggest and intimate at parts of our authentic self. The viewer, the listener, the reader, the audience, we are all implicated, complicit. A tale comes alive in its telling. In general, I try to avoid creating anything too bound up in the news cycle. That way lies brainworms, and I assure you of this will result in being ridden by ghastly demons. All the worst people in society are haunted in this way. The worst opinions find those with the loudest voices. Such is the world that we inhabit and have tolerated for too long. This is all to say, of course, what does one say at a time like this? What is one supposed to do at a time like this? How is one supposed to act? Beyond war is bad, beyond what is happening is awful, a tragedy. What can one say? What is one supposed to do about things that they can do absolutely nothing about, apart from pray for others and hold them in our thoughts? Listening is the doing at a time like this. How are we supposed to act? Well, that is something that we all have agency over. In order to act, however, one must be sure of how one feels. To speak of the worst people once again, you would have thought that after 2 whole years of burning out their amygdalas 24/7, they would be wary of further gluing themselves to the inauthentic internet. If continued, they will lose their souls. To be on social media right now, tweeting, following, having opinions, will see one's soul sucked out to feed the machine. The golden throne, perhaps. Sacrificed to the kraken that churns the social seas. I'm not sure how I feel about real-time war. Back in 2013, I gave a Pecha Kucha at Lima Zulu called Viewer Discretion Cannot Be Advised. I wondered if society was ready to be exposed to the everyday lived experience of the entire world. The answer was no. This isn't the first real-time war, of course. There are many others happening as I speak. You have to seek them out to see them. I really do struggle with the mindset of the worst people. The world that they think they live in has ended. This isn't the Cold War, nor is it the abstract and long war on terror, conducted overseas against people that we would never know. What's happening isn't happening over there, it's happening over here. It's happening on streets that I have walked, in places that I have been. Kiev is as far from Berlin as Madrid from Paris. I wrote last year that if you thought that there was a light at the end of the tunnel, you were mistaken. It is, in fact, a headlight of an oncoming train. Now, I didn't predict a fucking war, but this is how I feel. I have felt for a long time. Worse disasters are yet to unfold. As long-time listeners will remember, we are living in the run-out. The long 20th century is ending, and we are living in that landslide. So then, how are we supposed to act in a time like this? I have, over the last few years, been grateful for the work, writing, and influence of Bayo Akomolafe. He speaks often of our need to make sanctuary. A recognition that many of us feel like we are living in the wake of a multiplicity of world endings. I can't follow a real-time war. I can't do that to myself. I knew I wasn't ready a decade ago, and I am still not. I will practice instead what Akomolafe calls looking away at, which is different from and lies somewhere between looking at something and looking away from something. Looking away at is the refusal to return the gaze of the citizen with one's gaze. A fatal disruption of the interface of sane communication. We are alive during the run-out. Instead of living in a kind of end time, so to speak, we must learn to live in the meantime, in the middle, where we must live with the confusion and make do with partial answers. A recognition that not one of us knows what the fuck is going on. And the past 2 years should have made this abundantly clear. Back in 2018, I wrote that the only response to this condition is to learn how to feel. Learning how to feel is, as Akomolafe says, a modest move made in the face of daunting challenges. We do so for the world changes in small moments, especially when we aren't looking.